All right.
I got it this morning. This morning, ran
because you're holding the banner. Right? Yeah, so we're gonna, the banner is right up front. We're waiting for the other. Hey, do you want to sign a poster board? Yeah, by the tree, by the tree.
It's a portion.
Getting ready for the action.
And then Nasser is right here. Nasser?
Right, hello everyone. So we are here live at Washington D.C. in front of the Senate Russell Building, right? And we are on day one of our two-day national AAPI mobilization for a Clean Dream Act. So we have Asian American organizations, Asian American and Pacific Islander organizations all over the country. We have gathered here to demand that Congress does its job and passes a Clean Dream Act and supports the millions of undocumented young people who are concerned and also ready to take action and to take their futures in their hands. So we have over 100 young people, dreamers and allies and community members who are here to support people from Texas, California, Kentucky, Virginia, Nevada, no, not Nevada, Nebraska, and other states. And we just concluded a press conference at the House Triangle earlier today, and right now we are getting ready for a rally. So stay with us, and we'll be following the action. And if you're reading this, please call your congressmember and tell them to pass a Dream Act, and especially call Paul Ryan, House Speaker Paul Ryan's office, and tell them to put the Dream Act on the floor. Thank you.
Where's Sei she go?
Huh?
Where's Sei?
Sei? I don't know. She must be somewhere.
이따 나중에 아이템 두개 오면
Check 1, 2. Nobody hear me? What do we want?
DreamHack!
So everybody, we have a sign here, and then we have a tapes. Why don't you guys get this sign and attach to your shirt, your trash or your bag. We have other sign. Can I have one? It looks like this.
I have to sign the key bottom. Oh, can I have one?
Like that. Like what DJ do. Attach it on your shirt.
Baby's first rally.
No, I think the sign
All the
holders
speaker, please come forward.
That's not like around there somewhere.
Come forward. All the speakers, please. Come forward to the podium. Where the podium is.
Oh, everyone's holding signs. Oh.
Oh, you're taking
Okay, we need to get started now. We don't have running out of
This
time.
color is beautiful. Very good with the nature, right?
the color of my shirts.
Pungmul team, let's start it. Come. Begin.
좋다!
Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? All right. Let's get started. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jongwoo. I'm from LA with KRC.
Hey, it's
Hello,
okay
my
to
name
mount
is
this on top
Jenny,
the
and I'm also
speaker?
with the KRC.
So, if I call your I can say your organizations, please make some noise, okay? Asian American Advancing Justice here. Where are you guys? Woo! Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund. Where are you guys? Woo! And Association of Asian Pacific Community Health Organizations. Yay! And Apala. Yay! And Aspire. Woo! Where's Anderson? Make some noise. KRC. Nakase. National Asian Pacific American Women's Forum. And Kappa. And National Federation of Filipino American Associations. OCA. Yeah. And SALT. Is that how you pronounce it? SALT. Yeah. And CIRAC. And then the Office of Philadelphia City Council member Helen Jim. Yeah! Uplift! 80 million rising. Whoa! Yes. Minjung will explain why we're here and what do we want and when.
Alright, hello, thank you for joining us in this afternoon. Why are we here?
Dreamers!
Exactly. We're here to demand Congress people for a clean DREAM Act because it is necessary right now and before December 8th to include it in their spending bill. Right? Because when March approaches, more and more people will be undocumented. They will lose DACA, and it is critical, right, for us having a work permit and for us to be not fearful of living in the United States because we call this place home. So we're here to demand for a clean DREAM Act. Are you with me?
Yes! Up for education, down for deportation. Up
for education.
down
Deportation.
Up
For education.
down
Deportation.
Up
For education.
down
Deportation.
Yay! Pastor Sharon Stanley from Disciple of Christ. She's gonna do the opening prayer for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I always know I'm in the right place when I hear the Korean drums. Welcome back to our partners from KRC and from Nakasek for your awesome work together with everyone else who is here. How we remember fondly the 22 days in front of the White House and how grateful we are that now it's time to be in front of other buildings. Thank you. But I know we don't only share a common political dream. I know that we are here because we also believe that the power within each of you is linked to a much higher, deeper, stronger, and always strong enough spiritual power. And so I want to invite us now to pray together as we join it today. Oh God, whose hands first gave life to the world, and who decided you would never leave it, but you would stay within it and continue to give power and creative energy to all of the peoples that you created. God, whose heart aches for justice, whose ears hear the cries of the most vulnerable, and who always wants to respond. We ask that in this moment, you would remember the voice of each one who is gathered here. We ask that you would remember every voice of each DACA recipient who has shown such courage to come to this place and time in this moment to share their story. We know that our faith communities are built by stories, and so God, we ask that the hearts of all who hear would be changed by the pain that is expressed to them. We also pray, God, for those who are parents of the dreamers, who are aching with the threat of being separated from the children they love. We pray for AAPI LGBTQ DACA recipients who never want to be separated from opportunities for human rights. We pray for our faith communities that we know so many of are led by and strengthened by the power of DACA recipients within them. And so, God, on this hill now, bring the power of your people to speak to the power of politicians, so that their lives can be turned and their hearts will be opened by the new faces that they will see, by the courage that is demonstrated, by the voices that are willing to speak up. And let us all stand together in solidarity that indeed our prayer for a Clean Dream Act in December will come into reality just as surely as the sun is shining on us now. In the name of the God of power and justice, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Sharon. Before we move on to the next speaker, I forgot to mention to some of our friends, organizations. NEA is here. Woo! SIU is here. Woo! FSA, CME is here. Woo! Okay, now we're gonna introduce Senator Hirono from Hawaii. Senator. Yeah!
Aloha, everybody. I hardly know where to start, except that you are all here, you're showing up. Half the battle is showing up, and you have to constantly show up, not just in Washington, D.C., but all across our country, where we are standing up for 800,000 dreamers and all their families and friends, because what happens to our dreamers is something that happens to all of us. And when we do not pay attention to all of you young people who just want to have a chance at a better life in this country, the country that you call home, then we are not standing up for the kind of values that our country stands for. And you know, some of you may know that I am an immigrant, so I came to this country with a single mother. We had nothing. So of course my heart goes out to all of the minorities and other people who are discriminated against in our country, because my goal really is one that I share with all of you. We just want to give everybody the opportunity to succeed in a country that is supposed to stand for justice, fairness. These are not just words to an immigrant like me. So, you know what? Activism is very important. Mobilizing is very important. But we need to have people in Congress who think the way we do, and you know that is not the case here. So how do we have people who think the way we do, share our values? So I know that not all of you are dreamers. There are a lot of supporters, NEA, there are a lot of organizations. And in the arena, the environment that I am in, votes matter. So organizing and manifesting our effort to make sure that that our dreamers are not being deported, 8,000 of whom have already lost their status, is to organize at the grassroots level and to truly have our representatives reflect the values that we share and the values of this country. And what are those values? That everyone should have equal opportunities, that there should be health care for all. And even speaking of, by the way, the Republican bill on taxes will do away with the individual mandate. And that means that the Affordable Care Act is basically destroyed. So all of these issues are not just siloed, it impacts all of us. So when we stand here together with you, and to have all these other organizations, NEA and Apollo and all these groups, you know what, it's in recognizing that we are truly in this together, and I am standing here with you. I would like nothing better than for a Clean Dream Act to pass. That is going to take a lot of work, as you well know. So thank you very much. Half the battle is showing up. You have to keep showing up. Do not lose hope. I stand with you. Aloha.
Thank you, Senator Hirono, for that empowering speech. Next up, I am going to call up our leaders who will give their stories. First up is Nelson Wong, the leader of Aspire, and he's from the Bay Area.
Hello, everybody. So, yeah, my name is Nelson. I'm a 29-year-old DACA recipient, and I'm a member of Aspire with Asian Law Caucus in San Francisco. 11 years ago, I stood at the steps of San Francisco City Hall to give testimony to the fear and hopelessness of an uncertain future I faced as an undocumented high school senior. Over a decade later, we are coming full circle as the revocation of DACA is stoking fears that our lives that we built will be flipped upside down. Today, we are calling for a Clean Dream Act that will actualize our right to lead stable lives without fear of deportation, our right to community to preserve the roots that we have planted. We call for a pathway to citizenship that is conscious of our bonds in America with a reasonable timeline. We call for a Clean Dream Act that will not concede or sacrifice our community for the sake of a few. Just as I would not have achieved my academic and professional goals without my family, my 800,000 fellow DACA recipients would not have been able to achieve the exceptionalism that attracts industry interests without the support of our communities. And it's not about exceptionalism, is it? It's about humanity, right? Our undocumented community of 11 million forms the foundations of the values of grit, resilience, and perseverance that fuels us. And it is their love and their compassion that nourishes us. We cannot afford to concede one more member of our family. We cannot concede one more member of our community, because without them, our dreams would be nothing. We want a Clean Dream Act now. What do we want?
Dream Act!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Dream Act!
When do we want it?
Now!
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that story, Nelson. Our next speaker will be Raymond Partolin, leader with Advancing Justice Atlanta.
All right, how are y'all doing this afternoon? Greetings from Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Raymond Partolin. I am here with Asian Americans Advancing Justice Atlanta. I am 24 years old. I am a DACA recipient, and I am undocumented and unafraid. Undocumented! 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 What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? Thank you. That's what we are here for today, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to tell you a little bit about myself, why we are here, and why we are fighting for a Clean Dream Act before December 8th of this year. So, I came here to the United States when I was 1 from the Philippines. And like so many of you, I know no other home. This is the only place that I've ever lived, the only place that I've ever known. And it is completely unfair to ask people like us, all 800,000 or so of us, to have to pack up our bags and go back to the country that we left so long ago. But even more than that, and even more so recently, I have begun to think more and more about the sacrifices that my parents have made just so that we could have a better life here in this country. 23 years ago, when my parents packed up their bags to come here to the United States from the Philippines, they left their parents, they left their extended families, they left the only homes that they've ever known. And it's so easy for us to forget the fact that they sacrificed so much for us to be here. And we are here to make sure that our liberation does not come at their expense. When we say we are fighting for a clean DREAM Act, that means that we are here to make sure that we can find a suitable replacement to DACA without militarizing our border, without limiting our already broken legal immigration system, without cutting the refugee and asylee program here in the United States. We are here to make sure that we are fighting for all 11 million of us who are undocumented in this country, and we will not stop until our communities are protected. When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond, for that very clear and specific demand for the Clean Dream Act. Our next speaker is Maro Park, a leader with the National Korean American Service and Education Consortium and NAKASEC and Northern Virginia chapter.
Hello everyone. I'm not a leader nor a speaker like Raymond who went before me, but here I go. It gives me confidence
You're
that
handsome! You look handsome!
my name is Maro Park and I'm an illegal American. But I'm done being labeled something that I'm not. And I'm tired of telling myself that I cannot do what my peers are doing. I can no longer postpone my right as a human to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I immigrated to America on the winter of year 2000, and the Dream Act and I, we basically grew up together. He's like my best friend. 1 year later, from the winter, on September 11th, I learned what it means to be American. My license, which is currently expired, tells me that I'm an organ donor. And I hope that part, if it gets found, is still valid. Because if I die, I want my organs and my heart to go to my fellow Americans that live in this soil. Yet, there are others that tell me that I can't stay here, that they are threatening to deport me and my family. It's like they're telling me that I can't be happy. For me, there is a simple truth, and that is that the American dream and the DREAM Act go hand in hand. They uphold the values of freedom, diversity, and equality. I am done with Trump's bigotry. The Clean Dream Act, one that doesn't betray my friends and family, is a step towards the America that I grew up in and the America that I want to build toward. Thank you.
Thank you, Maro, for that very heartfelt story. Our next speaker will be Chirayu Patel, leader with South Asian American Leading Together, SALT, and from Chicago.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes!
Well, first of all, thank you for giving me an incredible privilege and an opportunity to share my story. As Nelson, as Raymond, and as Maro shared their story, my story is not too different. My family and I came to America in September of 1994. And this past September, we completed 24 years being in America. Over the years, our family has built a life. My parents and I have paid income taxes, business taxes, and even property taxes. My parents worked hard so that my brother and I could be the first people to go to college and graduate from college. And I know that's the story of a lot of dreamers that are here as well. So you guys know all the story, and we're working and pushing our representatives in Congress to pass the Clean Dream Act by December. I know we're working on it. I've been working on this issue in Chicago for almost 10 years now. My first job after graduating from college was organizing in the Devon area, which is where a large portion of our Asian American community is. And we know that when elected officials tell us that they're going to do something, we know that we have to hold them accountable. So as all of you go with your meetings today and tomorrow with representatives, yes, we're going to push on the people that are not with us and can share our stories and get them, but we also have to remind our supporters, what kind of legacy do they want to leave? Do they want to leave a legacy where people that have grown up their entire lives are contributing here, and do they want to deport them? Do they want to separate their families that have been contributing for over 2 decades now, in my case? So the question now is not only for the people that oppose us, but also for the people that support us. If you do not use the leverage that you have, what is the point of you being in power? Because we have been organizing in Chicago, making phone calls, registering voters, and telling our friends and families and co-workers that have been telling them to vote. There is a reason why we have an Asian American in the city council now in Chicago. There is a reason why we have the first Asian American woman in the Illinois General Assembly with Teresa Ma. And there is a reason why we have Asian American representatives in the U.S. Senate with Tammy Duckworth, and in the House, Raja Krishnamurthy. So we will push on them, and we will also remind leaders in Congress, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, as to what kind of a legacy they want to leave if they don't pass the DREAM Act by this December. Thank you very much for your time.
Our next speaker is our longtime friend and supporter, Louisa Blue, Executive Vice President from SEIU.
Hello, everybody. All right, we got to be loud and proud. I'm Louisa Blue. I'm the Executive Vice President of the Service Employees International Union. We represent 2.1 million workers and over 110,000 unionized Asian Pacific Islanders in this country. So I am here today to show solidarity for the undocumented families that live in this country and pay their taxes. I am here to stand in solidarity of the more than 17,000 API Dreamers and the 800,000 Dreamers across this country. We are standing in solidarity with you. So I got in at 3 o'clock this morning. Carl was with me. And it took me a while to fall asleep. But next to my bedstand is this book called We Too Sing America. People hear that? Yeah. Deepa Iyer, who is the author of that and the founder of SALT. And so I started to read these passages in her book. And sisters and brothers, we too sing America. Yeah. Right? From the Chinese workers who built the Transcontinental Railway, they too sing America. Yeah. From the farm workers, the Japanese farm workers, the Filipino farm workers who made this agricultural industry grow, they too sing America. From the Asian workers that work in the hospitals, Southeast Asian doctors in New York, Filipino nurses in New York, Southeast Asian doctors in the Central Valley of California, Filipino nurses in hospitals in California, Asian lab techs, Asian lab technologists and scientists. We too sing America. And we stand on the shoulders of people who came here before us. My father was a Manong. And farm workers sat down in 1969 in the fields of Delano and said, no more. No more, we're going out on strike. We want minimum wage. And minimum wage was just over $1 an hour. Shame on the growers that refused to spend that amount of money to pay people, Manongs, their $132 an hour. Shame on them. And that kind of abuse still happens, sisters and brothers. And every piece of fruit you eat, just remember, it is an undocumented farm worker that picks that fruit and picks that vegetables and tend to the fields. So we should never forget that we stand on shoulders before us that fought the fight to make sure that immigrant workers had a say and we're going to keep standing on the shoulders. And for the youth that are here, you are our future. You are our future. We will stand behind you. We will fight number 45, because I can't say his name, because I may call him something else. But we are going to fight number 45. We're going to go to that other person's office in a minute, and hopefully he'll have a dialogue with us. I'll try to be nice. But anyway, they need to bring the Clean Dream Act for a vote. And demand a vote. Up or down. We demand a vote. And we are going to call on each and every one of you again and again to make life difficult for those that have power and will not abide by what the American dream is. Eliseo Medina, who's a mentor of mine, he was a farm worker. And what he taught me was, we may lose, but we make them sweat. So that the next time they come at us, they're going to think twice whether or not they want to do it again. And that's what we have to do today, sisters and brothers. We got to make them sweat. We got to make them uncomfortable, because guess what? Your taxes pay their salaries. Guess what? Your taxes pay for their Cadillac healthcare plan. Right? And they need to remember that. Whether you're undocumented or documented in this country, you are paying taxes, and without us, they can't do their, well, it's a messed up job. Never mind. But without us, this country does not work. This country does not work, and we should stand up and be proud. So what do we want?
Dreamers!
When do we want it?
No!
What do we want?
Dreamers!
When do we want it?
No!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa Blue. Our next speaker is John Yang, Executive Director from AAAJ, Advancing Justice.
Great, thank you very much. My name is John Yang. I'm the Executive Director of Asian Americans Advancing Justice, AAJC. It's a pleasure to be here. Let me start by thanking the courage of the dreamers that are here and all of the DACA recipients. For them to be out here, doing what they're doing, saying what they're saying, speaking with their voices is so incredible. And it gives us, for someone like me, courage and even more fortitude to do the things that I need to do. And let me thank all of you that are here. I know many of you came from around the country to be here, to be part of this action day. And we applaud you for that, because that is what we need right now. What this is about is very, very simple. What we are trying to do is protect Americans. We are trying to protect Americans who feel it in their hearts. It might not show in their citizenship paper. It might not show through a U.S. passport, but that is who they are, and that is who we are protecting. Now, being in D.C., many people often ask me, well, does my voice matter? Do the letters that I send, the phone calls that I make, the legislative visits that I take, do they matter? I am here to tell you, yes, they do. They matter. The people back there, the people over there, listen to your voices, and it makes a difference. Because of your voices, 20 Republicans have agreed that dream legislation, clean dream legislation, should be part of the budget bill in December. Because of your voices, 25 Democrats have said that they will not pass a spending bill unless there is clean dream legislation that is part of it. It is because of your voices that there are faith leaders here, because of your voices that there are labor leaders here, because of your voices that, yes, even corporate leaders are speaking out in support of dream. So we must continue to do this. We must continue to do this. I want to say one thing on a personal note, and that is that this really matters to me personally. Why it matters to me is that 38 years ago, I was undocumented. I was a 10-year-old whose parents had lost their work visas. And so as a result, I was, like the dreamers are today, a child that knew no other home but the United States. It was not until the bipartisan Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986 that I had my path to citizenship. So it was done then, and it can be done now. As long as we continue to speak up, it can be done. And by doing so, we are going to protect Americans, we are going to protect the dreamers, and most importantly, we will advance America. Thank you very much.
All right, our next speaker is NEA President Lily Eskelsen Garcia. Sorry if I say it
Muy
wrong.
buenas tardes. I always get chills. I get tears in my eyes when I see dreamers. Look, I can't even do it. Look at this. Oh my God. You are an inspiration to me. You and your families who wake up every day in love with this country. And I see how hard it is, unnecessarily hard it is, to get a door to open. You know, if you're not an American Indian, you came from an immigrant family, right? Right. My mother came from Panama. My husband from Mexico. I know how hard this is. He's in the process of becoming a citizen. And it's hard. It's hard if you speak English and you have the resources to do this. Can you imagine with language barriers? Well, can you imagine? Of course you can imagine. But I look at what we're putting up with in this particular administration. Someone who gave aid and comfort to neo-Nazis marching in Charlottesville, who were shouting an old Nazi cry, blood and soil. Do you understand what they were talking about? Blood, my blood, and soil, my land. This is what the Nazis shouted at rallies. And it was an anti-immigration shout. And here we have that. And I want to tell you how proud I am of people who will stand up to haters like that. And will stand with you, will stand with me. You've seen the NEA posters with our butterflies. We welcome dreamers. We love our dreamers. 3 million NEA educators from preschool to graduate school who have said, I want the NEA to be a place where all dreamers are welcome, where we will knock on those doors and make sure that our students and their families are protected. Because we know what it means to be a welcoming country. You are more American today, whether you have that piece of paper or not, than those haters will be in their entire lives. We love our dreamers. Nuestros soñadores son nuestros. You are ours. You are our family. You are our future. Mil gracias por todo. Thank you for your courage and for everything you're doing. Mil gracias.
Okay, our next speaker is my sister, Sugyung Oh, DC Area Director from Nakasone!
Alright, so I want you to turn to the person next to you and ask them, why are you here today? I'm going to time you for 30 seconds, and then you have to switch.
To fight for justice.
Why are you here?
To fight for
justice. You don't have to tell me, tell your neighbor.
Your eyes.
Alright, I see people not talking to their neighbors. Talk to your neighbor. Alright, that's in 30 seconds. Switch. Why are you here today? No, guy with camera, why are you here today? Oh, that's not a good answer.
Fight for justice!
Okay. That was time. All right, we have lots of reasons for being here today. My reason for being here today is because of my friends, my family, the community members who I know, who politicians are playing with their lives. And that's just fucking wrong. It is wrong to play with our lives like this. And that's why we are here today. That's why I am here today. That's why we are all here today for Clean Dream Act. Now, I have another interactive activity. So I want you to turn to the neighbor next to you, and I want you to say the following to each other, okay? So I pledge. You gotta say it to each other. Don't look at me. Say it to each other, right? I pledge to have your back. Today, it's for the Clean Dream Act. Tomorrow, it might be to fight against homophobia, to fight against racism, to fight against anti-black oppression, to fight against patriarchy and sexism and male domination. To fight. Oh, I got an FBF for that one. All right, to fight against classism. To fight against language oppression where English is the dominant language. That's really long. Yeah, to fight against ableism. And so on, right? To fight for the environment. So here, earlier today a brother said, just us being here as Asian Americans, we are busting that model minority myth, right? That's right. So thank you all for being here today, and what? Some audience participation. What?
I love this girl.
Oh yeah. So I just remembered something. So okay, I want to do a quick little song, and some of you may have heard this before, right? Okay, you ready? Yes. I'm not. Okay. I can't find it. Anyway, it goes something like this. I can't find it, so we're not going to do this song. So it's not going to happen, but how about we do a chant? All right. I believe that. I believe that we will win. 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 What are we gonna do? We're gonna win. What are we gonna do? We're gonna win.
Shout out to CJ! Alright, next speaker is Elisa McBride, Secretary Treasurer of Secretary Treasurer? Okay, sorry. From the AFSCME.
Good afternoon. I am here representing 1.6 million public service workers, sanitation workers, social workers, nurses, librarians, the folks who make the American dream happen, and that's why we are with you, because this fight is all about the American dream. So I just want to add to the voices that have already spoken. I want to add one more message, and I hope you'll help me, to this Congress and to the folks in the building behind us. It's about time, it's past time that you do your job, right, members of Congress? Do your job! Do your job! Do your job! Because what they're doing is spending their time trying to find a way to line the pockets of the very wealthy yet again and cut our health care and fight against workers' rights and immigrants' rights and student rights when they should be doing their job and making a Clean Dream Act happen. So let's get Congress to do their job. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is TPS recipient Shailesh Shrestha.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. First and foremost, I heard two words. First, I word, and recently F word. Both is not that familiar for us. And I word is a clearly slur. We got to be careful using ourselves that I word. I clearly make my own objection about that. And first and foremost, I would like to appreciate and salute your courage, specifically the dreamer. You have the guts and audacity to say that I am undocumented. Yes, you did that. I would like to salute all of you. And in the meantime, I would like to connect the TPS as I'm from Nepal. And first and foremost, I would like to pay my gratitude. I saw Congressman Al Green, but I couldn't catch him to say thank you, Mr. Congressman. Then after, I would like to thank Congresswoman Ming. Then after Congresswoman, there are so many other names, specifically I cannot mention that. And in the Nepali community, I would say we are more than 300,000 in this country. A small minority, very much entertaining in the comfort zone. You will barely see the Nepali people coming out and speaking loud and clear like me. I do remember 2008 when I was here to celebrate the Obama victory speech and inaugural ceremony. I was standing line almost 8 hours. That was kind of enthusiasm and our audacity. But now I feel pain when I think standing for 7 or 8 hours on the line to celebrate Obama victory. Now I can feel little pain. But it has been transferred, the hope and the change, the audacity now transferred to you guys, dreamers. You are going to take this nation in the real progressive path. Nepal has gotten something 14,792 TPS recipient and going to be soon eliminated, as I have seen the rhetorics after Nicaragua, El Salvador and Honduras. So 300,000 more than that people are in this kind of parole and in this kind of dangerous situation. So I would like to urge Congress, women and all this, our members, to merge and make it huge package and give us a real guarantee. Not always waiting for the next day, 6 months, maybe 1 year or 18 months something situation. Let's add this clean wheel to the TPS clean wheel. So today I'm here from Nepali community representing my Nepali speaking community, largely fastly growing community. So I would like to support from our community. Let's work together for this Clean Dream Act. So let's make this Clean Dream Act more cleaner, clean, no dust, no debris, no illusion, no collusion, only Clean Dream Act. Let's aid the TPS as well, and we should move forward, and we are going to win now. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you guys.
Okay, folks who are participating in the action, this way, we're gonna meet up this way, right here. Folks who are participating in KPAC meetings, this way.
Way for folks who are speaking. Sorry.
So for folks who are gonna go to the KPAC meeting and have a speaking role, make sure you follow Way, and then for the other folks that are gonna be at the meeting, just follow me, and we're gonna be walking on the side of the street. So just congregate in this end of the lawn. Thanks.
Okay, before we close it, let's do one more chanting. No bad, no law! Victory for all! 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 Thank you guys. I don't think so. I don't think we can bring it in. I think it's this one for the folks who are participating in the maybe you guys. Here we go.
My finger got like stuck in like the double joint position. Yeah. Oh, got it.
You don't have a speaking role. Follow me. If you have a speaking role.
바로
Yeah. Oh, one is YouTube, the other is Facebook.
What's that?
Facebook and YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
Eric, let's go. We gotta go, Eric. Eric.
Yeah.
Wanna say anything to the viewers?
Hi, viewers. We're here to fight for a Clean Dream Act.
Where are you going next?
Right now, we're going to Paul Ryan's office, and we're going to tell him to bring a Dream Act to the floor.
Great. Where is Paul Ryan's office?
I'm going to follow.
All right.
Turning that way and then turning right.
Thank you.
Hey, trash! Really? God damn,
So we're gonna go to action, right? And Connie and Inhale will be among 16 people. Okay. So that
선생님 이것 좀 잡아주세요. 네, 제가 케이블을 꺼내야 돼서. 오케이, 좋아요. 아이고. 지금 페이스북에서 80명이 보고 있어요. 유튜브에서 1명.
80만 명이?
80명, 80명.
80만 명이래. 만자 하나 더 붙어. 80만 명이 보고 있습니다. 아, 잘못 붙였네요. 만자 빼세요.
이게 지금
네?
유튜브 나가는 거라고?
유튜브하고 페이스북요. 여기 유튜브, 여기 페이스북. 왼손.
나치분인 것다 이거.
에?
완장차니까.
에?
나치분인 것다.
나치. 감사합니다.
홈패킹 할 때
하실 때
어?
이거 지금 얘기를 해주면
내가 부탁을 했지. 안 가봐서 내가.
아, 선생님이 가고 싶다 그러셨어? 안 돼, 그래야 돼. 안 돼. 네. 안 돼요, 돼요.
다시 잡아주세요.
했는데 내가 가고 싶다고 그랬지.
네, 감사합니다.
광고했으니까.
아이고. 방향은.
선생님 나 저기 잘 찍어. 저기 너무 예뻐요. 이 선생님한테 부탁해 빨리. 내 사진기 너무 안 나와. 못생기게. 선생님 사진 한 장 박아달래요.
이쁘게 박아줄게.
이쁘게 박으세요. 팍 박으세요. 아이고 박으세요.
카메라 주세요.
You see, where you gonna put the I'm in yellow. I'm in the middle. Okay, fine. I think we should do
이따가 저녁에 전화긴 날고 충전을 내가 시켜줄게. 필요 없지라고 필요 없지라고.
이 건물에 있는 거야, 무엇이 이 건물에 있어요?
몰라요.
Well, they can, but they have to put their resume.
Okay, wait. 저희 지금 여기 국회의사당 앞에 집회에서 예 바쁘 열으셨어요 선생님?
It is the epicenter.
Susan, Susan Tamubano is saying, "Go Chicago Youth!
Go Chicago!"
Susan? What? Susan? Susan Tambubano.
Oh, Suzanne.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Is Suzanne watching right now?
Yes.
What's up, Suzanne?
What are your fake cameras?
Huh? One is Facebook, the other is YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hello from Nevada.
Nevada!
Woo!
Chicago!
I'm outnumbered. I am
outnumbered, outplayed. Ah, man. What else are there? I want to watch the Miss.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you doing like 3D with that or?
Oh, one is Facebook, the other is YouTube.
홈페이지에 유권자 지도 올린 거 잘 봤어요.
홈페이지 유권자 지도?
네.
아, 그 저기 보더 데이터 블로그요?
네네.
네. 아이고. 시카고도 만들어 드릴까요? 시카고에서 오셨나요?
네?
시카고에서 오셨나요?
아니요, 저 LA요.
LA예요?
네, 동부
아 그래요?
살았어요.
아 그래요? 정우 씨 친구. 그렇군요. 아이고. 그쪽이라서요? 데이터?
저 중앙일보에 일하는데.
아 그러세요?
네, 관심 있어가지고 혼자 많이 하고 있어요.
정우 씨 친구?
그때 한번 뵀어요.
아.
그때 그 중학교
한번 찾아왔죠.
네.
JK 찾는다고.
네네.
네. 아 그렇구나.
데이터 원래 공부하시는 거예요?
누구요? 저요? 아니요. 그냥 하다가. 네.
보니까 데이터베이스 말씀하셨어요.
그쪽으로 일을 하는 거죠, 문제 없겠어요. 네.
민주학교에서는 얼마나 계셨어요?
11년이요. 네. 이게 움직이네.
LA.
네?
LA.
네. LA 사무실이요.
집도 LA.
네. 집도 LA. 이제 움직이나요? 아이고. 그러니까 LA 사시나요?
네네.
네. 오케이. 아이고.
All right, only dumplings. I'm sorry. That's who it is. Dumplings.
Fried dumplings or steamed dumplings?
Sure.
You're going together.
Huh? Okay. You don't know where to go? Yeah,
They're both marshals, right? But they're having like a dumpling meeting.
Uh-huh.
So I guess Marshall just
I guess I handle returns now. I wonder if they get a restocking fee. Supposedly it's Operation Dim Sum.
Oh.
And that's why it's dumplings. So it's not like they're always called dumplings just for this one city. Someone just gave it an operation name, huh?
Then what are us then?
We? We'll need a good analogy.
Analogy?
Yeah. Something that helps the dumplings to be cooked, but not your hands. Maybe the frying pan?
Like the steam, wooden steam, I don't know how to, what's the proper English?
The metal box with holes in it?
Yeah.
What about it? Let's call it a steam cage.
Okay, steam cage.
We are the steam cage? I thought it was a reference to the Korean movie Old Boys.
Oh, I don't know.
In the Korean movie Old Boys, there's this guy. He is kidnapped and then they force him into a room for 15 years. Like, enclose him in that room and only feed him dumplings. So he comes out, he escapes, and he's like, do you know what I've been eating for 15 years? Dumplings. I'm gonna find who did this and take revenge. Yeah, that's the movie. Both.
Both? Which one is which?
YouTube, Facebook.
Hi Facebook. Hi YouTube. Welcome to my vlog.
Huh?
That's what I imagine YouTubers doing. Hi! Tuning in from Washington, D.C.
Maybe someone that's not doing it.
How to play the
Yeah. To be most interactive, we should be like talking to people. I'm kind of tired of talking to people. So, do you wanna do it? 안녕하세요. 네, 전 민주학교 김용호라고 합니다. 네, 저희가 지금 인터넷으로 생중계를 하고 있거든요. 뭐라 말씀하시겠어요? 보는 사람들한테? 한 5명 정도 보고 있어요. 한국어로 말씀하셔야 돼요. 네. 네, 감사합니다.
But I also want to go inside. Yeah. Because like I can drum anywhere I want.
Everyone who wants to talk already spoke on the stage.
You look pretty badass right at the front holding the banner.
Let's give people a tour.
Give people a tour?
Yeah.
Of the Capitol?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so we're gonna put this in this mode. Hello everyone. So this is Yongho and our assistant Sally. Hey, no, it's her anonymous name. Sally. At the reporting from Washington D.C. Wait. There. Okay, and we'll show you the city around a little bit since we are just on standby until the action starts. Okay. So behind me, that building over there is a Russell Senate office. Yeah. Named after the famous entrepreneur David Russell. I made it up. And then over there, no. Over there are trees. And then somewhere over there in the corner is a Heart Senate office building. And here we are taking a group shot. Here we are taking a group shot. And then over here, south of where we are, is, the cable is in the way.
You should just talk and I film you.
Okay. But we also out of battery, so you need to pull the batteries out of my backpack.
How do I make it go away?
Hold on. Let's check if it's charging. Oh, it's charging.
Okay.
Let me see battery charge level. It's drained. Oh my god, okay, I'm gonna pull another one.
Oh. You have a lot.
Wait. Is it? Oh no, it's not drained.
It just turned off?
No. I was confused. I was used to seeing the blue lights. Okay. Maybe you can put it in your pocket or something.
I'll hold it.
So if behind me, over there is the main Capitol building. If you have ever seen the TV drama series Designated Survival, which you can watch on Hulu, you can see some terrorists blowing up this building in that TV series.
Really?
And everyone dies.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, you should check it out. But anyway, that's the building. So I was always used to seeing this place in ruins and the construction crew like pulling the debris out. And it's kind of strange to see, not destroyed. What else is going on here? So over here, if you look really far back, about 3 miles in this direction is the White House. So the White House is where we are doing an action in August to prevent the White House, the 45th, from canceling the DACA program. And we are not successful at stopping it, but we think we raised a lot of awareness and we're able to put pressure on the executive and on the Congress into coming up with some sort of solution to support the undocumented young people. What?
Do you know what's that?
Although, let me pull up Google Maps. Over there, you can see over either that white building or further back is a Supreme Court office, Supreme Court building. I believe it's looks a little bit small. That's the Supreme Court. And further south from the Supreme Court over there is the Library of Congress.
Okay. I'm gonna show people drumming.
Yeah, so here we have these drums. In Korean it's called pongmul. There's 4 basic instruments involved in a basic pongmul set, and it's the gengari, the little metallic thing, gong, and the jing, which is the big one, the gengari, which is over there, and then jing, which is not here, and then the jango, the hourglass-shaped ones, and the book. And they're supposed to represent the humans.
You represent the 4 elements.
So they've been an important part of the protest culture in Korea, and we are proudly exporting it to the United States, free of tariffs. And back in the day, they were used to celebrate harvests, as well as different cultural ceremonies in Korea. How many people are watching it? Are we decreasing the number of watchers? Oh, okay. And the YouTube people left. Great.
Okay. All those super muscle. When is the action gonna start?
Yeah, so you guys, viewers might be wondering why is the action getting delayed? So are we. So I think together on the live stream we're gonna find out why the action is getting delayed. We believe there's preparations and procedures involved that kind of pulling the timeline back.
There's nothing else to film. Do you want to talk?
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Where's Trini? Trini.
Oh, good.
Have you done the live stream yet? Oh, this is amazing. So, I want you to meet Jose Trini from Ed Royce's district. We're talking to the world. Hey world, what's up? Hello world. We are here.
I think we should be further away from the drums.
Can you all hear me?
People might not be able to hear you.
Over there, maybe?
I still want them in the background.
Oh, then go. Okay.
Good thinking. Good thinking.
So, can you hear me? If you can, nod your head. I can see. So we're here representing the District of 39, California, Ed Royce's district. You wouldn't open your doors in Brea, so we're here to ask politely again in Washington, D.C. Right, so Ed Royce, this is a message for you and for all the allies and constituents out there in District 39 of California. My name's Jose Trinidad, and I'm here just as a constituent, as a young person, as a Latino, as a Native American, as an ally of the AAPI community, and my message is this: hundreds of thousands and millions of people's lives are on the line, and the very least Congress can do is act now and do their job. Ed Royce, if you're listening to me, you have to actually sit down and listen with your constituents. That is your job. For more than 8 to 9 weeks, we have tried to go to your Brea office and here in Washington, D.C. to just have a meeting with you. 5 minutes of your time is all we ask. And all we're saying is that without this Clean Dream Act, hundreds of thousands of our friends, our family, our neighbors, our community members are at risk for being separated from their friends, their family, their community members. And so the very least that you can do is sit down with us tomorrow, Thursday, November 15th, 16th, 17th, one of those days, and just listen to some of our stories, because we feel that if you do, it'll open your heart to what's really happening in your own district.
I would like to add that we've been in the district for quite some time, talking to students and people all across Fullerton and Brea and Buena Park, Democrats, Republicans, Independents. The DREAM Act has universal appeal. This is not a political issue. We really encourage the congressman and his fellow cohorts in Congress in Orange County and across the country to look past the partisanship in this country right now, because we need to come together for our communities.
Be the leader we need.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Great. Okay.
Oh no.
Walk front and then pull it against the back,
But you have to do the other way.
Huh? No, what I mean is you can go like this.
Okay.
Yes, it's I look at your angle. A little bit further up. There.
Oh.
And a little bit to the edge. There. Up.
Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. 2 lines, walk in pairs.
I don't have a pair.
Right here, you and him.
Oh, you need to just be behind the person next to you.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
You two are pairs. You come here.
2 lines.
There you go.
You don't need a pair, you just need to be behind the 2 lines. That's all. As opposed to like 5 lines or like, Another way you can do this is if you flip it. Then you can look at it. went sore from yelling, but it didn't really. It's just for the effect, right? Alright, so right now we're walking southbound on 1st Street Northeast towards Paul Ryan's office. We're telling Paul Ryan, why are you delaying the vote? You are being the obstruction. You're obstructing the process and you're not allowing dreamers to low battery.
So there.
No, it's charging. I guess it's not charging fast enough.
Okay.
6%. Dream Act! No! Dream Act! No! No! No!
Down with deportation! Up with liberation! 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 Down with deportation! Up!
Library of Congress?
I just wanted this is awesome. This energy is great. Let's bring it into the halls and just do one final chant. When I say, who's got the power? You say, we got the power. Who's got the power?
We got the power.
Who's got the power?
We got the power.
Who's got the power?
We got the power.
Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What do we want?
Dreamers.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Dreamers.
All right, let's go in there.
Hello? Let me get your attention, please. Yes, sir. Okay, you're not in the demonstration area. So the beating of the drums, the chant, the retreat, and all that's going to have to stop. You're within your right to go into the building, go through the members' office and all that. So you're going to have to stop the demonstration. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alrighty, you have a sign. Bring it over here. Signs over here.
Right, so we're in front of the Longworth house building, where we're demanding that Paul Ryan speaks up and puts the DREAM Act to a vote, and we'll be entering the building, continuing the march.
All right.
What's your name? Janet. I've been following us like
No signs or banners. Can't take it in. Give it to one of your buddies over there.
Okay.
Yeah. I can go. I'll go inside. So I'll go.
So we're gonna go through security.
Videotape security.
Oh, okay.
Turn it off.
All right. So we'll be back after we go through security.
Is it live broadcasting?
Yeah.
Huh? It's Facebook or?
Huh?
Which broadcasting?
Facebook and YouTube.
Dream Action.
이렇게 계속 생방송으로 나가는 거예요?
생방송 나갔어. 24시간.
아니요, 방송은 생방송은 안 나가. 24시간 안 나갔죠.
밤에는 또
여러 가지 문제가 있었죠.
앞에는 제일 앞에는 24시간.
아니에요. 항상 문제가 있었어요. 마이크 해놨더니 뭐 꺼졌다 뭐 등등.
But they said that I could put all
Is Jay here? Jay has somewhere I'm studying.
Alright folks, we're back. We're on the second floor of the Longworth building. And because there's a slow battery, just in case we're gonna, if folks watching on YouTube, we're gonna replace the camera. So we'll be back. We'll be back in like a minute.